Welcome to Fundamental Journalism Skills, Reporting and Interviewing. We're going to take a look at the RJ Media Reporting and Interviewing checklist you will use for each one of your story assignments as a reporter or editor for RJ Media. The first thing we want to take a look at to be ready to find the story is who are the interview subjects. We need to talk to people. We need to talk to our editors. We need to make sure that we understand who we should talk to and why. What's their story? Why them? You should have a reason for interviewing each of the sources that you request an interview for, not just the easy access or somebody that you think might be an authority. Sometimes it's the people that we hear about in the shadows that can really help tell the story. So clearly identify a reason for each source. And then it's all about the research. When we take a look at ways to be in the know and be prepared going into an interview, everything from a pre-interview, just a short conversation with that person, maybe when you schedule it, talking to other people around them or that are involved in the topic, even going to social media and taking a look at either the source or information on the topic, family and friends, previous stories that are written. So many ways to prepare. And of course, writing the questions and planning the questions are so important as well. When we plan the questions, we want to ask a variety of objective and subjective questions, but plan a lot of green light, open-ended questions that solicit storytelling to capture really the personal stories and emotions from your source. But above all, the most important thing is be ready to adapt on the fly. Don't run down your questions like a checklist. It should be a conversation more so than a Q&A session. And, be ready to follow up on something that they said and sort of derail even from your own question list. The best interviewers don't even get to all the questions that they have planned because it is a conversation and it does require listening and following up. The most important thing and the most important tool really that you will take with you to an interview is not that reporter's notebook, and it's not even the recorder that you will record the interview with, although that's super important and your phone works just fine. But it's your ears. And it's your ability to listen and be engaged and have a conversation. The best interviewers are able to solicit the storytelling from their sources because they make them feel comfortable. They open their ears, they open their hearts, and they open their minds to sitting down and genuinely being interested and engaged with the topic and the source. And that's going to be something that you learn as you become a more seasoned reporter, but going in and really listening. And this goes to the interview itself. So if we take a look at, where should the interview be? Well, it should be just like the environmental portrait, and you can get that environmental portrait while you're there. It should be in their environment. Talk about what's in the room at their desk, the photos behind it. These are great ways to build that rapport and get into a conversation that is genuine. So it should be somewhere where the source is comfortable and ideally in their territory. You want to make sure very early on you introduce yourself, you shake hands, you remind them that you are a reporter for your publication and what you are writing about and why. This is so important because once they agree to talk to you after you've identified yourself as a reporter and the story that you're writing for publication, either in print or online or both, they have then gone on record in the interview. Make sure you plan those green light questions, but again, you start firing off those questions and ideally they're going to say something and you've got your ears open and you're listening and it's not going to go exactly as planned. And that's a good thing. It should be a conversation and you should follow up with those questions that you have with more questions. Make sure while you're there to verify ages, names, titles, get the information right, but most importantly, listen, listen, listen. Open your ears and your mind and your heart to this person and really have a conversation with them. And the steps that you take after the interview are just as important. What you do directly after the interview and the following day and weeks will really be a key to success of your storytelling. You've got to make sure you back up your interview audio files and transcribe them right away, and then follow up with your interview subject. No doubt that you will find a few things from the interview that are super interesting that you want to follow up with, ideally in person, maybe email or phone. Verify those things with them. Verification we'll talk more about. It's so important that you give them a chance, and there's a way to do it during the follow-up phase to make sure that you can verify information and some quotes with them. And then finally, thank them when it's published. Thank them for their interview. Send them a copy. Build those relationships. Build that rapport. Open your ears. Listen to people. Everybody has a story. It's your job to tell it. Thank you for joining me for Fundamental Journalism Skills Reporting and Interviewing. There's a little quiz on the site that I want you to take, and then when you return to class, we are going to not only practice interviewing but do real interviews. We're going to conduct interviews right off the bat, and you will become an expert interviewer in no time. See you next time.